Okay, in this video we're going to have a look at how we can get things set up so that whenever you post a new blog post, it will automatically create a tweet on your Twitter account letting people know that there's a new blog post to come and have a look at. It's a very good way of generating traffic to your blog from your Twitter account, and it's hands-free once it's set up correctly. Now, the way we're going to look at doing it is using a plugin for WordPress. It's free to do, free to set up. It's a little bit fiddly, but once it's done once, that's it for that blog, that Twitter account. So it's good on the basis it's free. It's not personally how I prefer to do it. There's a system that I use to do this sort of thing, which I will show you in another video. So let's have a look at the free way of getting it all set up. First of all, you need to come into your WordPress admin area, and you need to go to plugins and add new, because we're going to pick up a new plugin to add in. What we're after is the Simple Twitter Connect plugin. So we'll click on search plugins, and in a moment or two it will come up and it should be at the top of the list, Simple Twitter Connect. So we're going to click on install now. Yes, I do. And it will take a moment or two, and then we can activate the plugin. Now, this particular plugin, we've activated the main part there, Simple Twitter Connect, but there's a few other pieces of the plugin that we need to look at. Specifically, we need to make sure that we've got the login and the publish also activated. Now, I'd also activate the dashboard as well, just in case we need it. The tweet meme button, we've already got that. I think we installed that as an earlier plugin, as a separate plugin. The tweet button, we don't need that. We're going to do that a different way. The linkify, I don't think you really need there. I don't use it. Followers widget, that you can use, but I wouldn't recommend it until you've got quite a few followers. There's no point in having a followers widget where there's only like 1 or 2 followers. That doesn't look very good. The follow button widget, create a follow button. Well, I'm going to cover that in a separate video because there's a few different ways that you can do that. And the comments plugin, that's up to you if you want to allow comments, allow people to get their comments authorized via their Twitter account authorization. Again, I wouldn't bother. I don't have that one switched on. So the extra 3, we've got the main one switched on already. The extra 3 that we're looking at are the log on, the publish, and the dashboard if we want it. Okay, let's go to the top and choose activate and click on apply. Okay, having activated those plugins, it will pop up with a red box at the top here saying this particular plugin needs configuration information on its settings page. Now, just so you know where to find that if you want to find it without clicking on that link, it appears under settings as Simple Twitter Connect. Okay, but what we can do to start off with is just click on the settings link here, and it will take us through to the relevant page. Now, this is where this particular plugin gets a little bit tricky because we have to do an extra step to get it to work. Okay, so what we need to do is register a new application with Twitter. You will only need to do this once, but you will actually need to do it for every Twitter account and blog that you link together. And typically you'll have a new Twitter account for every niche that you're targeting. It doesn't need to be for every keyword, but for every niche market. So this is for home alarm systems. If I went off and did another blog about fruit farming or something, then I'm going to have a separate Twitter account, and I will need to do this again to get that to link into that particular blog. Okay, let's right click and choose open in new tab, which will open up the Twitter application registration page. Before we move on, these are the bits that you need to read. What I'm going to do first of all is highlight the URL, and in fact I'll do it without the backslash on the end. Copy that, so I've got that saved. Now, the settings that we need to remember is we need to make sure the application type is a browser, we need to make sure the default access type is read and write, and we need to use Twitter for login must be checked or enabled. Okay, so let's go and have a look at this register an application page. First of all, we're going to give the application a name. Home Alarm Blog, I'm going to call mine, and I'm going to call its description as Home Alarm DIY, which is our Twitter name. We could call the application name the same thing as well. In fact, keep it simple. DIY. Application website, that's where we're going to paste in a URL for our site. Organization, I'm going to pop in Home Alarm DIY. Okay, pop that in there again. Website, same URL again. Having copied it, it's very easy to paste. Browser is already chosen for us, so that's good. Callback URL, again, just put in that URL that we're using. And then down here, we need to choose read and write. We want to make sure it's not read only. And we also need to tick the box for yes, Twitter, use Twitter for login. Now I'm going to try and work out exactly what this says for the capture and try and get the capture done, and I'll simply click on save and I'll come back once I've done that. Okay, quick point here, I actually got the capture wrong. Somehow I managed to type in the wrong letters. I think one of them was an unusual character. So I'm going to try again. But what it did, because I got the capture wrong, it defaulted back to read only. So I want to check that if it happens and change it back to read and write. And then again, I'm going to click on save. Hopefully I've got the capture right this time. Yep, there we go. Okay, we now have the bits we need. We have a consumer key, which I'm going to highlight, copy, go back to the plugin, and I'm going to paste it in there. That's the Twitter consumer key. And then we have the consumer secret, which is the next one down. So I'm going to highlight that, copy it, Control C, and paste it, Control V. So I've got both those in there. Now if I scroll up a little bit here, you can see there's a button. I can change what that looks and feels like. I can have it smaller, I can have it lighter and bigger, whatever you fancy. Okay, now we have got some more settings to go through here. Before we do that though, I'm going to go back to this particular application page because there's something going on here that we need to change. What it's done is, for some reason, it's defaulting to read-only access, which isn't going to work for us. Okay, so what we need to do is click on View Your Applications, and it will take us back to the list of all the applications. Click on Edit Details, and it will bring it back up. And down here, we can now change it again to read and write, and click on Save Application again. And this time, it should, hopefully, stay on read and write. There we go, access level, read and write access. So you've got to come through this and edit that and make sure it changes and stays as read and write access. Otherwise, this isn't going to work. Okay, so just make sure you come back, change it, and update that. Okay, we can now go back to the plugin and finish setting this up. Okay, so we're now at this the second stage of setting this up, which is publish settings. This is really important. First of all, you want to tick the automatically tweet on publish. Tick that box to make sure that whenever we publish a new post, it will tweet that to our Twitter account. Now, secondly, we want to authenticate for auto tweeting, but before we do so, just make sure that you are logged in to the Twitter account that you want to use for these tweets. Okay, so make sure it is the one that's relevant to your blog, because you may end up with more than one Twitter account, and you want to make sure that you're working with the right one. So if you're on the wrong one, sign out and sign in as the correct Twitter account, and then come back and choose sign in with Twitter. And oh, looks like I'm already signed in. Okay, no, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Whoops. Okay, before you click on the sign in with Twitter, you actually need to click on Save Changes to update the changes that you've made to this plugin. Okay, otherwise this won't work. So you need to click on Save Changes, wait until you get the settings saved message, and then you can come down and click on the sign in with Twitter. And that should then give you this authorization page. So you then click on Authorize App, and you can then click here to continue, and you're back to your plugin. Okay, so you've now done that correctly. So click on Save Changes before you try doing that. Okay, let's go to posts. I've actually already created a post. So I've actually created a couple and they're drafts. So all I'm going to do is go in by clicking on Edit, and I'm actually going to publish this simply by clicking on Publish. Before, I just clicked on Save Draft, so it's there ready to go. So do whatever you need to as you post. And when you're ready, click on Publish. That should then update and publish to the blog when it finishes. And once that's finished, if we go across to the blog itself and hit refresh, we should now have our new post. There we go. There's our new post. There's our old post. There's the new one. Now, if we go across to our Twitter account and hit refresh. So, yep, sorry, just hit refresh. And here we go. Okay, we've got our new blog post and it's automatically been tweeted for us. So there it is, on our Twitter page, in our feed. We didn't have to do that. It was done automatically as part of the blog process, the blog posting process for us. So that's how you can automate the process. It is a bit fiddly because this plugin doesn't require some setting up to start off with, and you've got to get that process right. But once it's done, once that's done for once, every time you make a new post on your blog, it will appear automatically in your Twitter feed, and those will pull extra viewers, extra visitors, extra people in to look at your site and read your content and visit your blog. Okay, so that's why we're doing it. We're doing it to bring in those extra people, to get them onto our blog, get them reading our posts, and hopefully convert them into buyers or clicks or whatever we're trying to do. Okay, so that is how to set up the automation to get tweets automatically whenever you make a blog post. Hope you found that useful. Please feel free to move on to the next Twitter training video.